did you know that in Tomb Raider Legend, if you find the football and kick it between these two gates, this will happen? Hello and welcome to Hidden Video Game Details, the series that aims to show you things that you may not have known about your favourite games, so that you can look really clever in front of the plumber that comes round every Wednesday when your dad isn't home. Don't forget to leave a like on this video, and if you do, I'll send you a carton of milk. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin today's video with Mafia III. Now, when compared to other games in the Mafia series, Mafia 3 is relatively light when it comes to details. I mean, saying that, we did take a look at the game all the way back in episode 6 of this series, where we discovered that the police would respond quicker if you were in a nice neighbourhood compared to a poorer one. Now, today's Mafia 3 detail can actually be found at the very beginning of the game. After relieving a Federal Reserve of its cash, it's up to you to decide what you want to do with the man tied to the chair. This unlucky chap actually helped with the heist, and held up his end of the bargain. Still, in the criminal underworld, loose ends are never good, and if you take the man to the pier, you can do this.
Drop his ass already? We ain't got time for this. Woo! Goddamn, that gets me every time.
So Georgie will comment on your alligator feeding fetish. It's a cool detail and one that is very easily missed. Now, if you've been following along with the series, you'll know that I love a good video game pool table. The pool table found in Deus Ex Mankind Divided is still the reigning champion of video game pool tables, though this year's Stray does push it close, if only because you can whack the balls with your furry little paws. Well, today's video game pool table can be found in Duke Nukem 3D. And is perhaps the earliest example of a working video game pool table I've seen. In the red light district, you can find this. So whilst not perfect, this pool table works, allowing you to pop balls at your leisure. Duke Nukem 3D released in 1996, and as things stand, is the earliest example of a working in-game pool table that I've managed to find. Up next is Metal Gear Rising Revengance. In the last episode of this series, we discovered that the enemies in Revengance were very persistent. I mean, you could even chop their legs off and they would still take a swing at Raiden. Now, those soldiers were easy to take care of, posing no threat to an elite cyborg ninja. But do you know who is a match for Raiden and his extremely sharp sword? This guy. So no matter how many times you try, you cannot attack this cat, which, let's face it, is probably for the best. Now that wasn't the last we'll see of our furry friend. During the Raid in Denver mission, as a villain gives a very passionate speech, you can turn to the right and see this.
Hate. They become a carrier. Envy, greed, despair, all memes, all passed along.
How about full of shit? Is that a meme?
You can't fight nature, Jack. Wind blows, rain falls, and the strong prey upon the weak. Ugh. Sam tells me you see your weapon as a tool. Something that saves lives, a means of justice. Now there's a pretty meme. Exquisite. It spared you the burden of all the lives you've taken.
So in this high stakes, high pressure situation, this machete wielding soldier has the time to stroke a cat. I mean, if I was the bad guy giving the speech, I'd be pretty pissed. Up next is Def Jam Fight for New York. Def Jam Fight for New York is a hip-hop influenced beat-em-up that released in 2004. The game features tons of rappers, including Snoop Dogg, Fat Joe, Method Man, Busta Rhymes, and more, and allowed you to beat the snot out of all of them. Now, in a game all about punching people in the face, have you ever wondered what would happen if you didn't do that? Well, wonder no more.
Someone better start fighting or we're gonna bounce. Wake up and do something. We didn't come here for this. Get busy, people. This fight's a joke. Stop thinking and do something.
So the announcer at this underground fight club soon grows tired of your inaction and starts to insult you and your opponent. I love it when games comment on you doing nothing, so if you know of any other examples, please let me know. Now, this next detail is kind of weird. It's not from a video game, but from a video game console. Some of you may not be old enough to remember a time when consoles required memory cards to save your progress. Each game save would take up a certain amount of space, and that space was limited, so many people got into the habit of deleting saves each time they got a new game. Now, what's really cool is, some of the save icons from the PS2 would react if you tried to delete them. For example, here is a save file for Wacky Racers, and if you try to delete it, Dick Dastardly will try to run away. Here is a save file for Ridge Racer 5, why it's a woman I'm not sure, but if you try to delete it, then the woman will start to cry. And finally, this is the save file for Onimusha 2, and trying to delete that file will cause the game's hero to sit on the floor contemplating if video game save icons go to heaven or not. It's a really charming detail, and if you happen to know of any other cool PS2 save game icons, then please let me know. Right, let's end today's video with Call of Duty World at War. Now, over the last couple of episodes of this series, we've covered details from the last good World War II Call of Duty game, and both of them have been found on the Vendetta mission. Well, today's World at War detail can also be found on the same mission, and if I'm honest, it creeps me out more than it should. Now, when this mission begins, you're surrounded by dead bodies. Even as your character opens his eyes, they can witness German soldiers killing any survivors. Well, if you head back to where you begin the level, you can find this guy.
My injured hand means I can no longer aim, but you will do it for me. Take my rifle and watch the road. Mumodak in the car is General Heinrich Amsel, architect of Stalingrad's misery. He is responsible.
Now, I don't know about you, but I've watched several movies where I've said that I would play dead and hope no one noticed. Well, it seems that this soldier has the same idea. If I'm honest, when I first saw this, I thought it was a bug. The way the soldier moves is just so stiff. But the more I look at it, the more I'm leaning on the side of a really cool detail. As always, let me know what you think. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then leaving a like is really appreciated. If you are a fan of Easter eggs, secrets, and hidden details in video games, then perhaps consider subscribing, as that's what this channel is all about. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.